Also wanted to say I knew about Vickie Remoe through again Young Salone because I'm the type of Sierra as much as I have a lot of Sierra friends, I'm not in the community to know who's who. So when I knew about Vickie through Abu Makida and the lot, I went on her page, checked out what she does, and I saw her hashtag Make Salone Famous. I was like, she understands. She understands what it is. So when she came in to work with us, to collaborate with us, I was like, I feel like you understand our vibe and you understand what we're trying to do. And everything that you got going on, the event you had, I think, a week or two ago? A month ago? That long ago? Oh, wow. The event you had a month ago, amazing. Some of us were online, was on Zoom watching it. It was in America, wasn't it? Yeah, it was in America. So hopefully next year, some of us can fly out so we can support us. So we can go and support you next year. So everybody, welcome Vickie. And if you're gonna hashtag, make sure you hashtag Make Salone Famous, please. And follow on all platforms, Vickie Remoe.
Couple. How na they do? I'm angry, but we don't make lunch. How na they do? Yeah, much better. So, my name is Vickie. I like to think that I'm everyone's best friend in their head online. You know, like that person online that you're like, I know her, like we're friends. So first of all, congratulations to the Slackfest team. And I remember last year we were thinking we were gonna have a Slackfest and I was gonna fly in. I booked my ticket and then they were like, sorry, you know, life is lifing, so we can't do Slackfest. Fast forward, and so I'm really, really happy to be here. For those of you who don't know me, shocking, hello. But I was born in Freetown. My dad was a police officer and my mom was at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I was like some of you, I think a lot of you here, how many people here were born in Sierra Leone? How many people were born here? Okay, so I was born in Sierra Leone and, you know, having childhood of my life and like a lot of Sierra Leoneans, you know, the war came to Freetown. The war started much earlier in 1991, but if you were living in Freetown, you were isolated from it, so a lot of us were going on with our lives while the rest of the country was facing the Revolutionary United Front, so the rebels. But finally, you know, things started getting worse. So I remember going to my mom's office at Foreign Affairs and we would have people from Liberia who had walked barefoot from Monrovia to Freetown to flee the war. And then much later on, it became other people from other parts of Sierra Leone that were coming to Freetown because they were fleeing the war. Because my mom was in foreign service, she was posted to Ethiopia in 1994, so that's when I first left Sierra Leone. But we hated Ethiopia, me and my cousins, we rebelled, and we begged our mom to deport us and send us back to Sierra Leone. Because of course, East Africa is incredibly different from West Africa. They don't get pepe. No, like facts. They don't get pepe. And so we went back to Freetown, this was 1996. And we were having a time, that was when President Ahmed Tijan Kaba was president. He was making all the roads in Brookfields, and we really were having a time. It was a time. It felt like something was happening in Sierra Leone. I started school at Limount College, which was founded by Daphne Pratt, who is one of the inspirations behind the Creole class that young Sierra Leone does. And I was, you know, I was 12. And sometime in, I believe it was, I want to say it was May. It was like I don't remember if it was a weekend or weekday, because part of my coping mechanism with the war is that I've forgotten a lot of the things that have happened. But all of a sudden we couldn't go to school and there were gunshots. And I had my first cousin who used to live in Sackville Streets, which is on the east end of Freetown. I know you guys have east and west end, so we have the same in Freetown. And so she had to run away from Sackville Streets on the east end to come hide at the west end because rebels had come to Sackville Streets and they were looking for girls. because they wanted to have a good time. So the rape and sexual abuse that was going on in the provinces during the war, they brought that to Freetown. So my family got really scared, and my grandmother decided we needed to get out of Sierra Leone right away, especially because we were girls. So every day until she was able to get us out of Sierra Leone, we would hide inside the house because sometimes soldiers will just come around in the neighborhood. If they knew that there were wealthy families in different communities, people who were other people in the community who knew you had maybe a nice car or wealth, they'll say, wait and see the soldier man then can. And say, when I go back to that compound and get this, when I go yonder and get down there. And so we weren't very affluent, but we can get motorcar, we get TV, we get different TV. So soldier man made kind of we was boku. So anytime we didn't come, my grandmother would tell us to go hide inside the house. Eventually, she was able to get us out of Sierra Leone by road. We traveled for a whole day in a bus. There were lots of checkpoints, armed checkpoints along the way. We finally made it to Guinea at the Sierra Leone High Commission. We met hundreds and hundreds of other Sierra Leoneans there, mothers, children, etc., etc. Eventually, because my mom was in foreign service, she was able to get us to leave the embassy and to get on a flight and go back to Ethiopia. From Ethiopia, when I got to Ethiopia, the Ethiopia and Eritrea war was just kicking off again. And I had the trauma from Sierra Leone. And so every day my mom left to go to work, I was afraid she might not come back home. So she was like, yeah, come on now, So she took me from Ethiopia and I went to the US and got to the United States in 1998. And which brings me to my life's work. I felt like my childhood was interrupted because I really liked 1996 Sierra Leone. We had family choice, and if you don't know what family choice is, it was the spot. Video games and arcades, ice cream, like swirl ice cream from the machine, like what? You know, you could go and like meet boys. You guys. It was a time. So when I got to the US, I felt like a girl interrupted. And so I went to high school, and my peers would say, you know, when they'd ask me where I was from, I'd be like, I'm from Sierra Leone, very proud. And for most people in my high school, it was the first time they'd met an African person who said, I'm from Sierra Leone, an actual place, and not, well, I'm from Africa. I've never been from Africa. I've always been specifically from Sierra Leone. And so my entire life's work has been trying to share and project the Sierra Leone that I knew as a child before I understood what poverty statistics were, what FGM was, before I knew that Sierra Leone was not the best country in the world, because before 1996, I thought Sierra Leone was America. And so I've spent most of my time now, thanks to the internet, projecting the version of Sierra Leone that I want to see. And that has meant telling the stories of Sierra Leonean brilliance. If you're in this room and you've done something really great and I heard about it, I probably blogged about it on sweetsalon.com. I probably tweet about it. I probably post about it on Instagram. It's probably on my newsletter. Because I think that what happened to Sierra Leoneans, a lot of us, whether you were born in Sierra Leone or your family's from Sierra Leone, is that there was large-scale dehumanization. And by that I mean, you grow up to not love who you are. You grow up to not feel proud about where you're from. And I think that it's very important that we rehumanize Sierra Leoneans, that you make people feel like, man, I love these people and I love this place. Yes, I am a crier. I cry at everything. So this is not a sadness cry. I cry at commercials. Thank you, Olushola. Before I had a child, I never cried. I had one child. One. I cry at everything. I say all this to say that what does make Sierra Leone famous mean? It really just means to make Sierra Leone famous for the right reasons. That when you're outside of Sierra Leone and you say Sierra Leone, people say, oh, I've heard of Sierra Leone. Maria Bradford is from Sierra Leone. She's that author with that book called Sweet Salome. You know, that's what I know about Sierra Leone. Oh, I've heard about Sierra Leone. Mrs. Wedding Planner, who does international wedding events. She's from Sierra Leone. Her name is Rugi Wuri Lamin. Do you use all three of the last names? Okay, Rugi Wuri. You know, or I'm from Sierra Leone. Oh, you're from Sierra Leone? Do you know Mohamed Mansouri, the actor? Oh, yes, I know him. So my work really is about amplifying Sierra Leonean achievement, amplifying Sierra Leonean stories, and amplifying Sierra Leone. And I do that in a multi-dimensional way. Because the old one then day and the small one then day. And for the small one there, I also want for as then they big and they grow, they know who that then be. So I started writing children's books.